And then I need to change to full screen game, Street Fighter. Should be good. I sure fucking did. Oh my god, let me tell you about the experience. Hold on, let me make this full screen so I can start the VOD off. It is full screen. Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's not what I wanted. Screen settings. No graphics. Girl, please. Oh, am I already sweating in my boobies? Oh. Why is it not working? Girl. I'll just do this then. Why was she being a bratty bottom? Girl, please. All right. We out here, we in here. Okay, so yes, I did get edibles. I was very excited. I haven't had them yet. My sister had one. We could probably ask her how she had. I just wanted to make sure everything was done before I do an edible, because sometimes when I do an edible, I'm like knocked out and I'm like, I don't want to do anything for like a couple days. I'm also gonna want to have another edible. So I'm making sure WrestleMania weekend is wrapped. But let me tell you, when I went to this place to get this edible, oh my god, it was like the most extravagant thing I've ever been to in the world. Like, there were people, it was like a dispensary, whatever, but like I walk in, the lady's like, yep, come forward. I had to show 2 forms of ID. It was like I had to go through a security pass. It was crazy. And then from there I had to go into a line out of 2 separate lines. And then there was like a line of like 7 different people that could check me out with the edibles. And then I had to take my receipt and go over to the dispensary window, and there was a smorgasbord of like all different drugs. And it was literally like the airport, okay? That's a perfect example. Like, seriously. I was gagged. I was like, oh! It's kind of sad we're gonna have to say goodbye to this game soon and like have to completely restart with like a 12-person cast and wait until 3 years after when we get a bunch of DLC characters. I hope they do DLC packs in the next game. Like, they release like 5 characters at a time. I know that's like crazy, but like WWE does it. And other games kind of do it. King of Fighters did it. Completely irresponsible, like, request from me. Like, it would definitely not happen, but it's fine. Seth, Queen, non-binary legend.
Come and show me everything that you have to offer.
June 2nd. I'm so excited for it. It looks so good.
Can't start the show without Star, right?
My name is Seth.
I've never seen this costume for Seth.
Fight.
I think it's their swimsuit. Hi, Max. Oh.
Come back soon.
How's your day been? I felt sick. Like, I guess I like just woke up in like a cold sweat. I haven't been sleeping right. I don't know what it is. I think the demon's back. Remember when I was like, there's a demon in my bedroom and like I couldn't sleep? I think it's back. So yeah, I haven't been able to sleep. So I like woke up in a cold sweat and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting up this early to get in drag for Stand and Deliver because there was a WWE pay-per-view at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I would have had to wake up like at the ass crack of dawn to get up into drags. So I was like, no, I'll pass. I'll just do like Mania tonight. It's fine. So I slept in and then I got into Face. But besides that, it's been fine. I'm exhausted having to defend myself against people on Twitter. It's becoming exhausting, but it's whatever. You know me. I'm the doll. I'll strike back and they get gagged. You can't outdo the doll. They always get gagged. What happened? I don't know. Something's just everybody always like tries me. Hi, Shogun. Oh, cute. Yeah, I'm hoping these ones are good. But when we were in the call, like playing Fortnite, and you guys are all like, yeah, I don't even feel 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams anymore. I was like, oh, oh. I was like, damn, okay, shit. Wait, she kind of looks like me right now. Wait, we're kind of twinning.
This?
I'm sure you will. They had happy hour yesterday. Ooh, free bag of edibles. Okay.
Show you the divide in our class.
Yeah. Well, streaming is a lot because I even said the other day, like, when you stream, you're essentially streaming the game twice. Like, your computer is doing it literally twice. Get off me, buddy. He got gagged. Oh, he's about to get stunned. We stun him here. Do I have my ultimate? Hold on, let's see. How do I do her ultimate? That's not it. Oh! I want to do her ultimate, but I don't know what fucking button it is. Yay! Thank you so much, Yug, for re-subscribing for 2 months. Oh my god, period. I want to do more egg hunt too. Every time I say egg hunt, I sound like it's like Mike Cunt, like Mike Hunt. It just sounds like those like jokes. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing egg hunt. I hope they add another map soon. Because me and House Music were on the last map. I don't think House Music and I beat it. But I want to do her ultimate. What the fuck? I never know what button is what. Like, what is this punch button? Oh! All right, I'm not losing to you, buddy. That's not happening today.
Cutting wins.
I'm sad she's not gonna be in the next game. There are so many characters that aren't gonna be in the next game. I hope are DLC, but like, I want to make room for like characters that should be. It's just so hard. Like, Rainbow Mika not being in the next game is kind of gaggy. Like, I was shocked. Poison not being in there. Ibuki not being in there. Base game, that is. I'm sure there'll be DLC.
Now, let's begin. I'll be on guard.
They're both so hot. Why are they excluding? Because they want to make them DLC, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate, but it's just the nature of the beast with 2D fighters nowadays. They just release 1,000 DLC characters.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you.
Round one. Fight.
Like, I don't fault them because, like, I love money too, but like I would at least do like a pretty stacked cast and then on top of that be like, okay, here's more. Kind of like Smash. Because like it's not like you're not gonna get the money, like people are still gonna. Speaking of Smash, this is the Smash map they put in Smash for Ryu and Ken. Hi, John. Thank you. Oh, gagged. Oh, gagged. How do I do her ult? Like, I want to do somebody's ult, but I can never land it with these characters. Oh, there it is. Nice. Get gagged. Oh, I got a perfect! Oh! I didn't think I was that good at Chun-Li. Damn. Chun-Li's muscles are insane. And what if I said I want to look like that, but blonde? So Cammy. I'm kind of already built like that, except for the stomach. I laid out a yoga mat yesterday to start exercising and like doing sit-ups because I want to lose some weight in my stomach, and I laid the yoga mat out and didn't do anything with it. I was like, that's enough exercise. Her quads. I mean, that's literally what my quads look like. I'm dead ass. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, that's my favorite part of my body is like my ass and my like thighs.
See your future. Wanna know who wins?
Yeah, I need to start getting my cardio up.
Make this look cool.
But, you know. It's fine. Oh my god, I need caffeine.
Have you considered your destiny? Do you believe in
It's
fate?
sad she's not going to be in the next game, probably at all. Minot is so iconic.
All right, let's begin.
Round one. Fight.
Like, look at this walk. Queen, strut, serve. I wish there was a gym closer to me. The closest gym to me, they're like personal trainers and do $100 for a session. I'm like, you guys are actually insane. You couldn't like, you could offer the best personal training session and I would not be like, yeah, I'm paying you $100. Like, okay, please. You're ridiculous. Yes. My cousin was telling me. Are you excited for Mania? Oh yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for the outfits. I'm ready for the looks. I'm ready for the entrances. Very excited for the entire night. Please? Funkies on a roll. Funkies on a roll. Ah! When Cameron, that one episode of Raw, was singing the intro. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Just like hyping up Naomi and JoJo camp. I just missed. You know what? Kill me. I want to do my ult before I end this. You can kill me. Go ahead. This ponytail on Rainbow Mika, though, kind of iconic. Also, why did they spell out Rainbow Mika? Why did they do R Mika?
I cut it way too close there.
Final round.
Wait, is Rainbow Mika the same voice as Black Star? Ooh, gagged.
Behold your future. I shall present you prophecy. Allow you the chance of Soulstorm.
That's how you gag.
Master, I really did it.
Menot wins.
Listen, I gave her the win, so don't even tell me that I lost. I forgot there's a whole fucking story in this game. LOL. You're funny.
Story.
Why doesn't it let me do the... Okay. Why do I have no one's story done? This is a lie. I've done some of these stories. You lie.
Story.
I've fully done Jury's story.
So does this mean I can play as much as I like?
Hi, Marshy.
Not bad. This feeling, it really brings me back.
Because Jury has a moment with C Viper.
Give me everything you got. Just like the last time.
And I was like, oh my god, gag. They better put C Viper in the next game or I'm gonna be mad. Because C Viper is a MILF. That's my mommy. Oh, we're fighting. There wasn't even a start. It was just get right into it. The way I gagged him. You think so? I think that's a huge booking they'd give Roxy. Wait, did they start the kickoff already? That's a lot. For what? That's a lot of talking.
Don't be so selfish.
Well, let me know because I know Mella's doing the kickoff, and if she announces her pregnancy, then we'll get out.
Good evening. You didn't reply to my invitation.
Her name's
so
Helen.
I've come to pick you up.
Get lost.
Did you just get a replacement eye? From the SIN laboratory?
You must have a death wish.
About the offer I proposed. Have you considered it? I think it would be a good fit for you. Oh my.
Yeah, they said they were doing something. Last night they did something for
We're crawling around here.
Hall of Fame, but
Just figures it's you.
I know she's doing something else as well.
Hey, Punchy. Great timing. Because I'm just dying to break this in.
It's also insane. Wait, I don't even think Balrog is in the base game for next game, and everybody was so mad he was in base game for this one.
Very entertaining.
Freaking harpy! I'm gonna crush you!
Balrog, you got a call from the base.
I like this art style.
I'd like to know what that's about.
Oh yeah, it's been
Now
revealed.
If you're investigating this,
There's Sea Viper. Oh my god, she's so fucking pretty. I really hope she's in the next game.
Spider,
A
the
DLC.
only reason you're not in jail is because you aren't the target. Keep interfering and I'll bring you in. And I
Also, did you know
have images.
Jury is technically a spider character? She is ironically a spider character, which is insane because all of my faves are spiders. Widowmaker, Jury Han, Elise from League of Legends.
Are you lost, little lab rat? Do you want a new cage?
ugh, how do I get you to shut up, dumb lackey?
Huh? How dare you speak to the second hand of Shadaloo that way? Dead vermin.
Hi, Murph.
You will tell me what you were sniffing around for.
Ooh, yes, sauce. That'd be hot. This character is such a waste of a character spot, this Fang guy. Like, literally no one GAF. I don't know a single Fang stan. I thought that was my ultimate. What is my ultimate? Oh, let's not. Oh, let's not. Oh, wait, stop. Ooh, that's not. Oh, that's not. There we go.
Suffering. Just give it up.
Okay, I missed. Hello, house music. What up, Jack and they Daxter?
Your Shadaloo.
Oh, I would if I could.
Whatever's here must be pretty important.
Listen, if Jack from Jack and Daxter ever needs his Jack jacked, oh, he can call me, text me if he needs to reach me.
What are you guys trying to hide?
As I was saying, this art style, I love this art style in the like cutscenes.
Oh well. At least I know now that Shadaloo and Bison are involved. And the suits are closing in. Looks like the fun is just getting started.
I had like 2 sips of a drink.
How did you get this number?
Who cares about that when you finally have my attention?
You're saying you would like to accept our offer?
Yeah, this game had a lot of censoring for some reason. I like in the next game that they literally don't give a fuck. Like the full Jury foot fetish, like freaks,
2
like
times already.
like they fully went full force with it. Which I am one of them. Like I want Jury to literally stomp on my balls. She is one of the iconic characters in history. I love her. But I was like, oh, like in this game they censored Rainbow Mika's ass and Cammy's ass. And in the next game, they just like literally don't give a fuck.
This is my first party! Miss Kasugano? Wow, long time no speak.
I love them.
And hello to you too. And by the way, you can call me Sakura. I'm calling to see if you got the invitation from
I hope Ibuki makes DLC too. Ibuki's one of my favorite characters.
No,
Ibuki
I
on
was
the
out
scene.
and I only just got back home.
Oh, so you haven't seen it yet? It's for a party.
Kanzuki, is she the one you told me about? Wait, party? What?
Yeah, I got an invite too, but I have some plans for tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Sonic Murder Mystery Game.
The invite will
What?
take wait to be picked up. You'll get to fly on the Kanzuki family jet.
Family jets? I can't go to that. I don't have any formal clothes to wear. I don't want to embarrass Miss Kanzuki.
Don't worry.
What
about
is
it.
that?
Always visit my street
What is it
if anyone
called?
cares. That
Are you
said,
baiting
I'll
me?
totally be there soon.
Wait, Miss Kazurano, Sakura? Oh. A party? And I'm invited? I've never even met Miss Kanzuki in person.
What? There is. It's real.
Man, this place is enormous. I really shouldn't have said I'd run here from the airport.
The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my god, Espio's in it.
And just who the hell are you? Running about on the roof, all suspicious. Speak up.
Calling me suspicious? Have you seen yourself? Why are you throwing those chains around?
He just blocked my ultimate. Oh, you can't do it in the air? That sucks.
Listen, I'm telling you, I specifically got an invitation.
Are you having a laugh with me, mate? Someone like
I'm
you
having a
don't get
laugh.
invited.
You have to
What do you
laugh.
mean when you say someone like me?
Oh, the butt.
How many times will I have to go over this with you? You mustn't be rude to my guests. It's so nice to meet you. I'm
Karin.
Kanzuki. Miss Sakura speaks very highly of you.
I love Karin.
I'm Ibuki, and I've heard a lot about you too, Miss Kanzuki.
Hut!
Whoa!
I think a match will make for a better introduction.
She's so me-coded.
Please be kidding.
This is a much better way for us to get to know each other.
This is how you make friends?
I got my red dress on tonight. Did not mean to do that, but whatever.
This is it.
You've passed. When I spoke with the Glade of Ninjas, I wasn't expecting such an excellent recommendation. I was skeptical. We don't employ ninjas from outside of our family. But seeing as you're a good friend of Sakura's, I'm willing to make a special exception this one time, so that you can work with me.
Work? I thought this was a party.
It is a party, at which I'd like for you to be present, as one of my attendants. Do you have any other questions?
Well,
I understand, but there's nothing for you to worry about. The contract has already been approved by the Glade of Ninjas. The only thing left to do is sign this.
All right. You're on the payroll, same as me.
Oh my god, that was so hot.
Oh, and of course, when I was talking to Miss Sakura about you, she said you're trying to find a good-looking man.
Me.
So you'll be very happy to know my parties attract many handsome men, and I think you'll find them quite nice.
Me and my oomph.
you mean it? No way. Since then, so many things have happened.
Oh, was that a what's his name? Umaga?
What did you say? Don't act
Oh, that's a
so
wrestler.
arrogant.
What's his
You
name?
picking a fight with me?
It's E Honda? No.
You haven't.
Yes.
You come in acting all bossy. It's amazing to think that in such a short time, so many different things could happen. But now, I'm just happy that it turned out okay. And I'm even happier to finally be home. Oh, Sarai! Yeah, I'll be arriving soon. I'm home!
Yeah, Stacy's induction was really cute, and also Ray's was too. Those are the only two I watched. I didn't really give a shit about the other ones. Sorry about it. I did think the moment between Asuka and the guy was really cute. Yeah, Muna's induction was really cute. Oh, wait, hold on.
Hadouken! Hadouken! Hadouken!
I can't. I know, literally, I'm like, I wish he would have just broke it for a second. I think the reason he got up and left was literally because he, like, probably was emotional and, like, just loves his dad. Cousin Jim Bob. Oh, wow. This guy's so hot. Like, I literally want him to do nasty things to me. Like, nasty fucking things to me. Like, nasty. Like, he's the main character in Street Fighter 6. His name's Luke. He's the new kid on the block. He's fine. That's literally Logan Paul. Okay, you're nasty. Please? No, I didn't clock that.
I'll be on guard.
Does this look familiar? Do you like this reference that Capcom did? Isn't it cute? It's a Haunting Grounds reference. It's Fiona from Haunting Grounds. I love that they added like cool costumes from their different games that they've had over the years. That's Luke right there on the flyer.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you.
Harmony. That is the truth of what you must seek.
Round one. Fight.
Cryokinesis.
Your voices are actually way too loud now. We need to fix this. I thought it would be a cute volume change, but it's way too loud. Also, why can't I change it while I'm in the game?
Hadouken!
Security.
I'll be on guard.
The time has arrived. Come.
I like Gil because he's in a Speedo and it makes me wet. And I like staring at his titties. They need to make more characters like this. Men just completely naked in a Speedo.
Round
Like,
one.
he's hot.
Fight.
Like, Give me more of this.
Cryokinesis. Pyrokinesis. Easy.
Stop jumping!
Submerge.
You better be jumping.
Cannon spike! Cannon spike!
Submerge.
Cannon spike!
Oh my god. The skirt blowing up, fully see her panties.
Mission complete.
The girl is shimmying in the back, that's us. Please. That's literally us.
Cannon spike!
Wait, can you, Sauce, can you look up if Rainbow Mika is the same voice actor for Black Star and Soul Eater? It sounds so familiar. Thank you. Yes!
Acceleration!
Oh, the panty shot. Oh!
Cammy wins.
As much as I liked Haunting Grounds, the ending was terrible, but I also love Haunting Grounds in general. I think it's a good game. I just never finished it and I rage quit it because it was getting exhausting. But I like it from afar. It's a very good game. Oh, her name's Helen Colleen. I was like, why is her... Who the fuck is this bitch? Not the ACAB. Girl, why is your entire personality revolving around you being a cop? Get real. Please don't ever add her back. Every costume she has, she's a cop. You could wager that cowboys are sometimes cop in the Wild West. They're different? Okay. They sounded very similar.
Yeah, let's go.
Kneel before me.
I forgot he has a
in my
Wesker
presence.
outfit. So funny. Nice reference to Resident Evil. Do you guys know that game? It's not a very popular game. I don't know if you guys know that game.
Uh-oh. Pleased to meet you.
Don't worry. I'll end you quickly.
Wait, that's so funny. He sounds like Wesker too.
Fight.
Oh, what the?
Predictable.
Predictable. Sakura's one of my mains back in Street Fighter 4. Shibuya! Let me see if I can do the Hadouken input. What's the... Let me see. There we go. Oh! Sir, can you please?
What the?
Silky? Nutmeg ganache?
I did it!
Round 2. Fight.
I didn't know your critical art transfers over to other rounds. Can you please back it up? Haha, not her saying easy. She's toxic. She probably... trying to think, I don't want to like open up the menu to look at my ultimate, but it's probably a punch. It. Oh. Oh, why am I struggling at this? Oh. Oh. Oh, wow, I've never seen that.
Sakura wins.
She's so cute. I love her. Yeah, I was gonna say it like activated after I did the input. Like I did the input and then after that input landed, it did the ultimate by itself. So.
Damn it. How did things end up like this?
Girl, she weighs 115 pounds? Oh my god, jealous. Wait a second.
Kanzuki-san's always sending invitations to fight.
She's 5'1", 5'4". Who's the tallest girl in this game?
Now, shall
5'6", 5'4",
I knew it would.
5'3". You're not a... Nope.
I'm going to make Matsuda.
5'9". Laura's taken it so far.
Kanzuki is never.
5'3".
Right, now let's get.
5'5".
I can't escape.
5'4". 5'5". I'm shocked at Chun-Li being
At the
that
risk of
short.
my life.
5'10". Okay, Rose.
The king.
What do you mean height unknown and weight unknown? Just get a ruler.
Metro City. Damn it.
I think Rose is the tallest. Yeah, Rose is the tallest.
At the risk of my life.
Queen.
Damn it. My beautiful old city. Well then.
If anyone's unaware, Trans Visibility Day, also Poison is one of the only trans characters in a game franchise. She's iconic.
Poison! When'd you get back? Long time no see. How's the wrestling organization with Hugo going? Is everything good?
Hi, Roxy. Well, it's coming along.
Hey, Roxy! Where's the registration for that used car?
I forgot Abigail and... Wait, no, who was it in Street Fighter 4 that was
What's up?
Poison's? His name was like Hugo?
You look like you're
Yeah, it
still
was
in
Hugo.
fine shape.
She always has like a buff, beefy guy like
check
protecting
you
her.
out.
She's kind of iconic for that. She said, "Gentlemen, come here." I hated Hugo in 4. Him and all of the beefy guys that... Who is the iconic wrestler in this game? The guy in the Speedo. Why can't I think of his name?
Showtime! I've got you. Oda! Take off!
Oh, Zangief.
Was it good for you?
Zangief and Hugo in that game, they would like spam the same moves. And they were like OP as shit.
All right, Abigail. I'll give you a passing grade. As of today, you're on tour with me.
I'm so excited to get extensions, you guys. I'm gonna bleach my hair and get extensions soon. Ah! I'm gonna get my nails done, get extensions. I'm gonna get a massage.
What?
Very
What do you
overdue
mean,
birthday
Poison?
gift.
What happened to Hugo?
Huh. That coward ran off in the
I
middle
wish I
of
could get
CBR
FFS at the
training.
same time.
Who cares about him?
Do a massage
I know
and...
Abigail has more guts, so he'll take my offer.
But you know, Poison, the boss has been working really hard running...
Huh. Abigail doesn't have the smarts to be a boss.
She clocked.
What makes you think you can just show up here and talk to me like that?
Well, because you're a man.
Poison,
Flop.
Abigail's working very hard to manage the shop. He can even smile at customers like a real businessman. Hey, boss, show us a good sales smile.
Cut the music.
Welcome to our shop, nice customer.
He looks like a himbo version of Nightwing with that face paint. Poison's face, she said, ooh.
I'm sorry, Abigail. I was being selfish. I'm sure you'll be a great business owner. Take care of Roxy, boss man.
God, I just want titties like her. I can't wait till the day I get giant fucking titties. I just have little baby titties now. Oh! Oh, Cody too could do nasty shit to me. I love that man. He was my big crush growing up. He's like one of my like. Oh. Oh man, that would have been so hot to see him get domed.
So.
Right there!
Honestly, doing a Poison cosplay probably wouldn't be hard at all. It's a ripped up white t-shirt. Yeah, Cody's fine. Like, fine.
I heard you got sprung, so I was nice enough to recruit you for my organization. What are you doing? Why the hell would someone like you take on the mayor's job?
It just sort of happened. About that offer to make me a star. Can you ask me again when my term ends in a few years?
Ooh, do they have romance? Ugh, fucking ACAB.
Metro City Police? I'm here because we received a report that the mayor was being attacked by a thug.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming by, Officer Morgan. But there's no need to worry. We were
Officer
just
Morgan?
having a
Liv Morgan?
conversation about the good old days.
Girl, I'm excited to see her fucking gear. She better eat.
That's what's going on. So, you can take things from here, Lucia.
You know, I kinda remember you.
These
Didn't
accents.
you go on tour trying to make some pro wrestling organization?
Oh, that's right. She does do
Big guy,
wrestling.
wasn't he named Hugo?
Girl, imagine like a gimmick of like just pretending to be Poison as a wrestler. Honestly, that's kind of what I want. That's me down.
It doesn't take a detective to realize that you guys had a falling out. Hey, watch it now. I don't want any trouble.
Joycey.
Even if I wanted to make trouble, it wouldn't.
Did you see that one clip of Liv
There are some
at the
things we
donut
just
shop and
can't
her
control.
accent came back for a second? Like her Jersey accent.
could be
I was
born
like,
to a rich
you're so
family
cute.
Or to a family living in a garbage dump. Whether you're a man or a woman, you can't choose how you're born into this world.
Oh.
Look at Hugo. He's a big blockhead who has no ability except to beat people up. He was born to a fate of always fighting.
Yeah, I think I get what you said.
I didn't know they made a conversation
In fact,
about
I
her
think
trans
Amaya is
identity in
kinda the
this.
same
Oh,
way.
my heart.
Still, it's not like I hate people who can't live on their skills or their smarts. We've already talked too much. Time for me to go. Where the hell did this blockhead come from? What do you want?
I don't need someone who runs away just to crawl back to me. But the worst ones are the ones who run away from the situation and never have the guts to face it.
Oh, it's
again.
Hugo. I see the silhouette of the hair.
So if you got the guts, maybe you aren't the worst kind of blockhead I despise. You want a second chance? Fine then. But I won't go easy on you, Hugo.
I like their relationship. It's cute. Thank you for the follow. Ooh, wait, that color story is cute. The green, the dark green and the black. Everything. I like this white one too with the red. Where is... Thank you. I got it for when we play fighting games. I want to show you guys the funny costumes they do. Let's see if we can find another funny costume. Oh my god, wait. Blanca has a really cute one. Oh my god, he has the Nergigante from Monster Hunter. So fierce.
Blanca, experience the wild the hard way.
Yes. Did you see Shotzi at Hall of Fame? Everything. I can't wait to talk about the like all the looks on the pod. So excited. Very excited. I'm so excited to record the podcast. We haven't recorded it in a hot minute.
I'll show you the divide in our class.
Round one.
I think Shotzi had one of the best looks. I'm gonna say it. The green and that gorgeous gown and the sheer glove. I was like, ooh, mama's taking it. Just very sleek and elegant. I think Chelsea looked incredible. One of my fave looks. I think Liv, I loved Liv's look. Reference to Pamela, like, so good. I wish there would have been more fur incorporated to the look for the purple lavender, like, stunning thing she had, but.
Not done.
Oh shit. I didn't like the bangs. You know what she should have done instead of the bang? She should have done, like, she should have put her hair up, tied it back, so, like, it gave her more of a forehead, and then she should have done, like, star clips. Like, done, like, how my hair is right now, parted and tucked behind the ears, and then done star clips. Like, rhinestone starry clips to match the pasties. I think that would have made it look so major. I didn't think it looked bad, but I think it that could have taken it to another level. Oh shit. Okay, maybe level 6 computer was too much. Maybe level 6 computer was too much. He just blocked my ultimate. Okay, we're taking the L. Okay, we're taking the L. Oh my Jesus. Alright, we'll work our way there.
Blanca wins.
I need to go back. I didn't get to see a lot of the looks. Oh, I loved Sonia's. Sonia always looks amazing. Sonia always looks hot. Oh my god, hi Grace! Obviously I couldn't recognize the name, but hi. Hi DoorDash bestie. Ironically enough, gonna use DoorDash tonight. WrestleMania is happening. We gotta get some nice little eats. What was I saying? Oh, Sonia. Sonia's look matching her girlfriend. Well, not girlfriend. I think they got married, right? Who should we play? Oh, engaged. Okay. I want to play some jury. Yeah, they're really cute. They went to Hall of Fame together. Girl, yes! Please. Girl, you know where to find me, and you also know I'll do anything. Like, I'm so excited. And thank you for pitching and doing stuff like that. And also, everybody was so nice. Like, ironically enough, I thought I pulled out like a shirt the other day to like stream in, and my DoorDash shirt was there, and I was like, should I stream in this? Please shut up, Marshall. When I dye my hair black and get a mullet.
It seems to be getting chilly.
Oh, it seems to be getting chilly.
Well then.
This jury look is so fine.
Break you first?
She looks so good. Thank you, Kat.
It's so nice.
Wait, is she supposed to be dressed up as Cammy? She's supposed to be dressed up as Cammy. Cammy without the muscle and the thighs and the ass. Oop, not the wish Cammy. You want to be her so bad. I can wholeheartedly assume that Colin will not be making it into any other Street Fighter game. She was such a waste of a character. Nobody liked her. I was like, oops, sorry, girl. Not too much. I think she's fine, but like there are so many other characters. Like C Viper could have easily took her spot. Okay, not too much on me now. Okay, that was more even. I liked that.
Was it good for you too?
Round 2. Fight.
I hope they take more like advice from the fans in their new game, like what worked last year and what didn't. Like, I think if they make new characters, they need their new characters to be colorful and have a lot of personality, because a lot of the new characters in this game, when we go back to the character select, I'll show you, a lot of the new characters were not like fun at all. Like, we got like 5 different cops, and like it was just like bizarre. Oh, I'm pretty sure she was a secretary. I think. I don't know. I didn't really keep up with her story.
Final round. Fight.
I like this map too. It's giving the Fox Starship in Smash Bros. Oh my god, she's gagging me. Oh my god. Oh my god, stop. Oh, that maybe saved me. No! Ugh. Okay, wait, that was kind of served, that win pose, the walk away and the ooh, the little dip on the ground. Okay, mother. She kind of ate that. Okay, Auntie Colin. Even though her name is Colleen, excuse me. I want to highlight more outfits. This outfit, girl, so good. Some of the cosmetics in this game are so fucking puss. Like, eat, mother. What's another funny cosmetic? Oh, I think he has a Beautiful Joe one.
I'm summoning a storm.
So good. We need to stream Beautiful Joe. It's one of my favorite games of all time. That, Klonoa, Kirby Air Ride, Jak and Daxter, some of those are my favorite picks from back in the day. I used to play Beautiful Joe with my dad because Beautiful Joe has a 2-character option that you can play as Beautiful Joe and the girlfriend. And I used to play as the girlfriend all the time and be like, ee.
I am Rashid of the Turbulent Wind.
I think her name is
Remember the
Celine
name
or
well.
Selena or something.
Round 1. Fight.
And Beautiful Joe is hot. Like, I was like, oh. Like, do you see this character right now? Look at his muscles. I'm like, oh. Like, she looks so good, this cosmetic. Like, eats. Okay, he's literally gagging me right now. Back it up, buddy. Oh, he dodged it. He's dodging! Stop!
Come back soon.
I love that color scheme of like the purpley maroon with the jean. Oh, I want this look. I would literally buy this down. Wait. Who just got released from WWE? Nope, hold on. Do it. Say Saray. Say Saray again.
Showtime!
No! You shouldn't be allowed to block ultimates. IDGAF. I don't even care if it's a mechanic. Like, let me do my funny ultimate. No, she says, like, Poison says Saray. So I was trying to make a joke, but the input wasn't working. The input wasn't inputting. This dates me, but years ago, they had a demo disc for Beautiful Joe on it, and I accidentally wiped the entire memory card. Oh my god, wait, what? It would wipe your memory card? Wait, I actually do remember that. I remember, like, not being able to do anything with the game. I was like, oh. I remember. Do you remember the 20 minute? God, my eyelash, for whatever reason, there's like something sharp on it. Okay, so these were all the new characters introduced. Do you guys want to see how stale they look? I think Ed is new, is he not? I think Nash is new. Lucia's new. Boring. This bitch is new. This bitch is new. I think this bitch is new. Like, what is that? I think she's new too. Like, who are you? Oh! Dan isn't new. Fuck, he was so disappointing. Yeah, literally so disappointing. Oh, that outfit is actually kind of puss. Wait, this kind of redeems her a little bit. This outfit's kind of puss. Wait, this one's kind of puss too. Hold on. Wait, why does she have good cosmetics? Hello? She has better cosmetics than some of the good characters. I'm actually gonna try her. I've never tried her before.
I'm ready. Now begin.
I want to see some titties.
Okay, come on.
The new character they released in 6 though, who's the guy with the long hair? He's hot.
Let's begin.
Desk work just isn't my thing,
Oh.
you know? Looks like I can have a little fun now.
Round 1. Fight.
Jamie, yes, he's so hot. Oh. If I lose, it's because this is literally the first time I'm playing this character. I have no idea what she does.
Get lost.
Tornado.
Oh my god, like her inputs suck. Are you gonna do something, girl? Like, please.
Too slow.
Oh my god, her gameplay is literally ass.
Sweep it off.
What to do?
Oh. Like, ooh, you get to do that. That's wonderful, I guess.
Tornado. Got it.
What to do?
Ew! Okay, we're not. Ooh, let's not. Ooh, let's not. Ooh, let's not. Ooh, let's not. I'm done with you. Never again. Your cosmetics might be nice, but that is not a. That is not. That's. Ooh, that's not. It's unfortunate she got added so late, so she has no cosmetics.
Your skill. I now wish to test it.
I'll show no mercy.
Ooh, hot. It's gonna be so weird when we have to leave this game in the dust. Like, oh no. We can't do this again.
What's the meaning of fate? You shall know.
If you stand in my way, I will kill you.
Round one. Fight.
There! Ah! Sword spark! Sword spark!
I like the lighting in this level a lot.
This will hurt.
There!
Place you up, hero. Sonic!
This will hurt.
Sonic ray!
Sword panic!
Down you go. It's all mine. Obvious.
Sword spark! Sword spark!
Gotcha. Sonic! Sonic!
You know what I was thinking about? You know how Capcom loves to do collaborations nowadays? They're in Dead by Daylight, they're in Fortnite, they're in Fall Guys. What if they did an Overwatch collab? Because Overwatch said that they want to do collabs with more companies. I could see it happening. And instead of Resident Evil, what if they did Street Fighter? Like, they could give a skin to Moira for Rose or Minot. They could give Symmetra a skin for actually Minot or Laura or whatever. For Cammy, they could make it like they could make her Mercy or somebody. Like, I think it could work so well. They could give. There's just so many options they could do.
This is your fate. This will hurt.
Sword Sparta! There!
Sonic!
Oh, oh, please stop.
Down you go.
No, yeah, she's everything. I was gagged that they still added her after they added Minot, because I was really like gagged, because I was like, Minot's taking the spot as the magic girl, but then they added Rose and I was like, work. Because they usually like to make it so every character is unique, it doesn't play like another.
This is your fate.
Yes.
It's the end for you. It's your destiny. Soul powers nature. Fedora spark!
Work.
Sword Spider!
Over here.
Oh my god. Oh, I got him. I was like, no way I lose that.
Rose wins.
Wait, is that a card with Minot and Rose on it? Do they have story together? Literally.
Arcade. Storm. Storm.
At the risk of my life.
Diaz, thank you so much for the follow. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Ooh. 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 I'm tangled. Okay, we're good. Need to order food soon for Mania.
One must fight their future.
Ooh, like
Only
really
one who
soon.
can see their future can truly understand one's fate.
I'll do it after this. Oh, hey. We were just talking about you, girl. I don't want to do that, Rose, please. Oh, 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 oh.
This will hurt.
Literally, it writes itself.
This will hurt.
To see one's fate, one must fight.
Do you hear Christina V in that voice? I don't.
Master, you are so cool.
You shouldn't only admire my words, but also concentrate a little more on your lessons, Manat.
Oh, she's her
Yes,
apprentice.
By the way, what do you have planned for today?
Can you predict that?
Ah, you want me to practice fortune telling? Right. Let me think. Trapeze? No, I guess not. Tragedy? No, that's not right. Oh, it's travel, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Oh, Master, are you traveling somewhere? If you have some errand, I can do it for you.
No, Manat. This appears to be a matter that only I am destined for. I will be away for a while. Please keep an eye on things.
Yes, Master. Have a safe journey.
Manat is so cute. I hope she makes her way in to 6.
A strange energy.
Not Oro, please get serious.
Yes, that man has been destroyed, and that dangerous power has disappeared with him as well. But I feel something different. This is like...
Having lived a little longer than you, I can see beyond that which you cannot. I can say that this energy is
What the? Not the delivery fee for Popeyes right now, girl. What the?
Balance, but on the other hand, I do sense vibrations that are one with nature.
Good vibrations!
Yes, I feel it too.
Oh wow, they actually
However,
have Burger
it
King
is
on
an
here today.
overwhelming force of nature and very difficult for me
That's
to ignore.
surprising.
And that gives me pause.
Now I understand.
Like, what is he doing? I don't get it.
You wish to challenge.
He looks like a nut sack. Oh.
I humbly bid you welcome, fellow Earthling. I represent the Earth and await your challenge.
Not them shoving all the DLC characters in this to get them more airtime.
But the wheel of fate has already turned. I must now ascertain.
Oh.
There! This will hurt.
This will hurt.
Soul spark! Yeah! Soul spark there! Soul spiral! Best watch out! I see it. You must be careful.
I know, we're approaching. Well, actually, 1 more hour.
It's the end for you. It's your destiny. Soul powers nature. Fate or a spark!
Oh, I clocked him.
Not my day!
You must purify your soul more.
That is right, Earthling. I believe you now understand. You see who I am, and who you are, and what is to become of all of us.
No, this can't be.
But it can. I'm sure you can see it in your mind's eye very
What should I order for food tonight?
You and I, and all the
You
people of the
and
Earth,
I.
where we are now heading to.
It's not true. Because it's...
I kind of just want French fries. Like, I don't want anything besides French fries.
My dear Earthling, my dear intelligent Earthling.
Girlfriend is a makeup artist in the Bay Area and loves drag. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear.
The same fate as all my Earthlings, and the same fate of the entire universe.
That art of Rose right there is fierce. She looks
I'm not
good.
sure who he really is. However, the vision I saw after I battled with him was unreal.
Wait.
The world
What if I
is
got
going to
sushi?
end.
Ooh.
As if a gigantic glacier
I'm definitely
fell
gonna get
into the
sushi for
ocean.
one night. Do I get that tonight or do I get it tomorrow?
And now, it's too late to find a way to stop it. Shadaloo and Bison. I believed if I could eliminate their evil, the world would be able to escape from crisis.
Maybe I'll get it tomorrow so I can
I
have
believed
it.
that,
last a little longer. But I kind of want it tonight. Oh my god.
Welcome home! Oh, Master, what happened? You look like you just experienced the end of the world! Oh, Master looks terribly worn out. What can I do for her? Ah! I know! A bath! Master, I'll draw you a bath!
I want onigiri, but with no sauce. But like ordering it online is a hassle because they usually put sauce in it. I'm like, please, no. Oh!
Psycho power. The
Oh!
use of such dangerous
Oh
power pushed
my
the world
goodness,
to the precipice of
Rose!
destruction.
Oh!
But even after that man's ambition had
MILF,
been crushed,
MILF, we
we're
love
still on the
MILFs.
path of
MILF,
annihilation.
MILF, we love MILFs.
The world had already been heading in the wrong direction long before I realized it. Now it's too late. The answer lies not in the future, but in the past. We
I'm
must
surprised they
stop
put
the
this
seed of
in. That's a
evil
lot of
from ever
booby.
taking root. And the only one who can do that is me.
She's
The
so
me of the
mean.
past. Only I have the ability to stop this.
Girl, I swear to God.
If the person I was could see into my mind right now and realize the situation,
Oh, I'll show you a situation.
yes, I might be able to start it all over again. From zero.
Do I get to have a costume of Rose in her bathwater? A bathwater Rose. I thought there was a outfit for Uriel that he's in a Speedo. Can we look this up?
Good. Next up,
I'm not crazy. Oh wait, she does. What was that Rose outfit? Oh, she looks so pretty. Oh my god, the mime outfit. She does have outfits. Oh my god. Oh my god, this outfit for Seth. Oh, that jury outfit's cute. What the heck? I don't have this jury outfit. Fuck you. Oh, that Monarch costume is gorgeous. What the? What the? There's so many outfits I don't have. What the heck? I didn't realize. Wait, Ken looks hot there. Wait, Chun-Li looks good there too. What the heck? What are these outfits? Are these like, yeah, these are like old school. Yeah, I want this Vega. That's my favorite Vega, when he has his shirt off and mask on. Sexy. What is this? I don't understand. Oh my god, please no. I thought that was gonna pull up my fucking information. I was like, Jesus.
Thanks for your purchase.
I didn't buy anything, bitch. Sorry. Let me figure out what I'm gonna order because I need to order it now. I think I'm just gonna do French fries and maybe a salad. Because usually when I order from this place, they give me a salad. So let me do that really quick. Yeah, how do you get it? The Speedo Uriel thing. Delivery in 40 minutes. Work.
Street Fighter 5.
I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna do it. Oh, I can use anybody? Work. I think I'm gonna use my girl.
Let me hear your sweet scream.
Oh my god, the trans rights colors. Eat.
Brazil.
I know, literally I saw Bitch Pudding play one day and they were like, you have to upgrade your version of Street Fighter for like a couple bucks and you get it. And I was like, I did it so fast.
Lovely. Lovely. Feel it. Nay-nay. And up. Yeah. Lovely. Have some. Yes. Gotta have. Over here. Ready?
I forgot you can do that.
Ready? Over here. Gotta have. Good one.
So, you can't get up anymore?
Round 2. Fight.
Gotta have. Have some. Over here. Have that. This way. This will end your suffering. Just give it up.
Work.
You win.
Oh, so good. Wait. Wait, I'm playing Miku. I'm literally Miku. That's funny. Honestly, though, they need to, in terms of wrestling, they need to take out that. Did you guys see the guy that was being transphobic to another trans wrestler? They're making him DLC in the first patch of 2K23. I'm like, they need to take him out, rename the pack, and then just add an extra character at the end of the year when they do the last pack to replace him. I hope they make a statement on it.
Not bad. Lovely. Over here. Have some.
Yeah, that's why I was so shocked people were in my ass about me being suspicious about Braun Breaker.
It can't be over!
I said, Melo's my man. He's from my hometown.
Round 2.
Want that guy to win.
Ready? Annoying. Have some.
Also, did you see NXT? Their next pay-per-view is going to be in Boston. I said, oh, let me hit up Roxy. Hopefully she gets booked. I'm like, girl, let me do your makeup. Okay. I got gagged.
I suggest you stay down.
Final round. Fight.
Have some. Ready?
I feel like Roxy lost because she's getting called up 100%. When I saw Indie one, I was like, oh, wait, that gagged me. Maybe even Tiffany getting called up too, if she's okay after the mess that everybody kept like not helping her out in the match. I was like, guys, come on. I mean, what's good about it is that I was worried that Indy was gonna go main roster. I think Indy's gonna get 70-day run, stay in NXT. Maybe she'll even lose it next week and get called up. Cause her and Candace had a moment. Like what? I don't think that's the point of NXT though. I don't think they want to keep them at NXT, especially Triple H being like, oh yeah, we want to call people up if they're improving, and clearly Tiffany has improved. Oh, Kaden and Katana have to definitely get called up. Okay, well, Tiffany posted her literally falling off that ladder, so I think she's good. At least I hope. Jesus. It was bad. I felt so bad. I'm like actually gagged that she lost. Like actually gagged, like still. I'm really happy for Indy though, because if she's gonna be in NXT, because she's been in NXT a while, I'm glad they're giving her some accolades. Because she's been there a hot minute and they haven't given her anything.
Round 1. Fight.
Left, get low. Feel it. Nay-nay. Lovely. Pass it. Have that. Have that. Get low. Have that.
Yeah, we'll jump into that when we put on the Mania show, because I'm sure we'll have a lot of wrestling to talk about later.
So, you can't get up anymore?
Round 2. Fight.
I better not see any recycled outfits later, though, for Mania. Everybody better have a new fit. It's Mania.
This will end your suffering. Just get lost.
No outfit repeating for Mania. Not even you, Asuka. Love you, mother, but you need to do another fit.
You win.
Char's gonna eat. She's literally gonna eat the entrance. I know Mother is gonna come to slay. I don't want Charlotte to lose! I want Charlotte to get another win at Mania, which is impossible because all of these years, we pray that Charlotte's gonna win at Mania. We're like, oh my god, Charlotte's has to beat Asuka's streak. She beat Asuka's streak. Charlotte has to beat Ronda. She beat Ronda. And now we're like, she has to beat Rhea. I don't think she's gonna. Same. It's a really good costume. I like it a lot. I like the thing on the side too, like that, like lasers. It's fierce. But so like what? Like Rhea does what on SmackDown? Like what? Like what? Like what? Rhea walks around Raw with Judgment Day with the SmackDown title. Like, oh wow. Oh, you ate that. You thought you ate that? Well, somebody said we're getting a big draft after Mania, so I'm like, are they gonna do it the Raw after Mania, like they're doing a draft right after, or are they gonna do it, they're gonna do call-ups and then do a draft? Because I think it would be weird if they were like, oh yeah, we're doing a draft after we do NXT call-ups. Wouldn't it be weird? I think it would be weird. But apparently the Raw after Mania, they're gonna have big plans. So.
Round 1. Fight.
This guy is so ugly. Like, who are you? Shut up! It does look like Jenny the Teenage Robot, but like, yassified. It's like Miku and Jenny the Teenage Robot combined. Is Oro new or is he old? I think he's an older character. The name sounds familiar.
Was it good for you too?
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, I did not mean to do that right away. Oh, not me wasting my ult like that. Oopsie. Wait, I don't think the Iconics were at WrestleCon. So I remember looking at the roster list, and I don't think the Iconics were there. So why are they in LA? Looks around. Everybody was like, aren't they going to be at WrestleCon? That's why they're in LA. I'm like, I don't think that's it. I didn't see them on the roster, because I remember being like, I made a list. I made like a list of the girls I could meet if I went, which I didn't, obviously, but... And the Iconics weren't on it. So, looks around. If the Iconics come back, I would literally scream. Oh, we're doing something. Oh, we're doing something. We're not... What is happening? There's barrels. There's Oh. I will literally cry if the Iconics come back. I don't think you understand. They're my top, like, my fave. Oh, 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 oh. What is, hello? Not Akuma, not me about to get my shit rocked because he's built like a boss character, because he is a boss. Oh.
It's boss time!
Round 1.
When Michael Cole retires, I'm gonna have a meltdown. Wrestling will literally never be the same. Fuck, I almost got a perfect. That's so annoying.
So, you can't get up anymore?
Round 2.
Yeah, I saw that. We got a couple more years with our boy. Also, if Matt Riddle comes back at WrestleMania, cancel the entire event. Just saying. Completely transparent.
You win.
Level 5. Oh, that's gonna be rough. Oh my god, I hope Randy comes back. I'm interested to see how they will do returns, because first of all, the ramp is long. Second of all, how will they make them surprises, and like, are they gonna do them all post-match? Are they gonna do them all? I think doing them in the middle of the match would be a disservice, because it is Mania. And I know they definitely have plans, like, ready. If Randy comes back with Matt Riddle, I will be mad. I will be mad. Especially if he plans on retiring because he just got back from injury. He needs another solo run before he calls it.
The future! So, you can't get up anymore?
Round 2. Fight.
You flop. Oh, you fucking bitch.
You win.
Oh my god, 30 minutes! Ah! "30 minutes until Mania time, baby. Malibu, baby." Did you see that Trinity the Tuck and Caitlyn Jenner actually beefing on Twitter? Girl, I know it's stank over there. So gross. I can't see it, I'm blocked. So.
Round 1. Fight.
Yeah, I saw there were, someone said that they were beefing, and everybody in the replies was like, well, we can't see it because we're blocked. Not too much, Mr. Fang, not too much. Oh my god. He's about to gag me. Oh. Stop jumping around, you fruitcake. Oh my god, his poison's gonna kill me. That's the only reason why you're winning, sir. Oh, I'm so mad.
Round 2. Fight.
I didn't mean to do that. I literally didn't even do that. What the? This is clearly rigged. What the fuck? He's only level 4. Why is he like really gagging me? Fuck off, dude.
So, you can't get up anymore?
Final round. Fight.
Ready? Over here. Lovely. Feel it. Nay-nay. Ready?
Oh, that was close.
You win.
Wow.
Another fight is coming your way.
Excuse me? Not the insert. Do you mind?
I'll fight.
Round 1. Fight.
Lovely.
Girl, you want to gag the doll? I'll show you something to gag on, bitch. Stop blocking everything. Of course you have to block everything because you're a loser. Loser. Oh, not too much damage now, please. Can you please stop? This is my... Why are you blocking everything?
No, please. Did you get crushed?
You better fucking not. I will be so fucking bullshit. That's what I thought.
Not my day.
So, you can't get up anymore?
So, you can't get up anymore?
Pardon me. Please leave now.
Nice reference to Bane. No one knew who I was until I took off the mask. Would you die? It would be extremely painful.
Not done yet. Not my day.
You win.
Exactly. Why wouldn't I? Let me make sure my food isn't getting delivered while I'm doing this. Let me know when food comes here. WrestleMania tonight. Oh, maybe I could get some wine. Because it's Mania night, baby.
Round one. Fight.
Oh, this stage is pretty. His name is one letter from a slur. Girl, please.
Round two. Fight. You win.
This is the end. This is the end. This is the end. No, it's not actually. It's not. It's not. It's not.
Secret area.
Secret area? Oh, I'll show you my secret area. We were just here. This isn't a secret area. What do you mean? You're a joke. Thank you, Kat.
Round one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Fight.
The entire panel. I had a good time though. I thought it was good. We're not doing this. We're not spamming the same move over and over again, M. Bison. You want to be a final boss? Maybe have some originality.
Round two. Fight.
Ready? Come over here.
Oh my god. Look, he's just spamming the same move. So obnoxious.
Fight on.
Let me hear your sweet scream.
Secret area. Round one. Fight.
He blocks so much. Like, get real, dude. My God. Stop blocking.
Round two. Fight.
Fuck off.
Your final round. Fight.
I have somewhere to be, M. Bison. I need you to take the L. Do not even do this to me right now. Thank fucking Jesus.
You win.
Hey, girl Savvy. There's probably a secret boss, isn't there? Oh no, we're good.
Thank you for playing.
Work. All right, let me start setting up WrestleMania. That's not where I wanted to go. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm gonna set this shit up. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Thank you. Can I open this? Like, please. Okay, and then